All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another Clearmud live stream. Today, we're doing a little bit of ideation, but we're also talking about that recent ban. Let me make sure we are live as well. All right, good. We are good. How's everyone doing today? How is everyone doing today? I had to play this chill jazz style. We're getting started with this little espresso here. What's up, Quad? Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. How's your weekend? Matthew, 3 cups of coffee in. I feel it. I usually, I start the day with the triple espresso, and then before stream, I do a single. Sometimes a double. It really depends. It really depends. What's up, Wrangler Tang? How you doing today? God, Busy wants to know how everyone's handling this. Listen, today I want to talk about, how I'm handling it. Now, I'm not handling it in a way that will violate the terms of service. I'm not going to give you recommendations on finding ways to violate the terms of service because there was a lot of initial posts about how to bypass it. I spent all weekend trying every single solution, and it feels like Claude was on top of it. With disabling, the Claude CLI workaround that a lot of people were promoting and supposedly working, but really didn't work all that well. And so we're not going to violate terms of service, but I am going to share how I'm going to be working around it. What's up, Vinny? Welcome back. How you doing today? It's been a while. What's up, Pokemon? What's up, Dimmy? What's up? Racking, let's go. Whoosh, welcome back. Niai. Man, I hope I can pronounce that. Niai. What's good? How you doing today? Migrated my team over to GPT and doing fine. Tuning after today's update, yeah. I had to do the same thing, I didn't cancel or downgrade my Claude Max sub yet. I'm going to give them, what's funny too? Is I renewed my sub literally 2 days before this announcement. It would have been nice to get a week notice and not a less than 24-hour notice, it felt like. Maybe it was 24 hours on the dot, but it was very prompt, right? They gave the notice and it happened within 24 hours. It was really a bummer. It was really a bummer. I think they're shooting themselves in the foot here. Literally 20 hours beforehand, I set up my second Openclaw and upgraded. Dang. Yeah, I feel like the timing of it too, it was just maybe they timed it to the point where a majority of monthly subs renewed and then they made the announcement so that money was, locked in for the month. I don't know, at this point, I don't know. I switched to Gemma 4, but not sure is managing to do anything. Yeah, Gemma 4, John, welcome back, by the way. Hope you're doing well. I think it's great for experimental, right? It's a certain kind of use case for that model. I wouldn't think that it could replace Opus 4 outright or Opus 4.6 outright, for that matter. I think it's a fun new model to play with, but, especially running on local hardware. They were just watching X and seeing how everyone was doing it and blocking it from there. Yeah, exactly. Oh, are they? Oh, that's nice of them. Oh, wow, okay, yeah. I've been so hard at work with. This morning I discovered a bug, but as you can see here, 1 day ago, 24 hours ago, I was able to get my YouTube script output working again because for those of you who've been following the channel for a while, a lot of these commands in Clearmud OS were old Claude CLI plus Obsidian workflows. So nothing broke in Clearmud OS. What broke was everything in Muddy OS, right? So today I did, though, run into an issue when I was trying to generate a script where my auth expired on the VM. So we're going to try to re-auth. I did discover here before stream that they were having issues. So I hope that the issues that I was running into trying to re-authenticate in the CLI are related to these errors on Claude.ai. So, hopefully it's just a partial outage. I really hate how, they've been having a lot of outages during our live stream. It's a big bummer. It's a big bummer. Yo, what's good, Landscape? Welcome back. How you doing? Yeah. Where are you, if you don't mind me asking? What time zone are you in? I did not, but I'm now going to start exploring a lot of different, models. I did switch Muddy over to, as you can see here, I'm working with GPT. I did switch him over to GPT. One of my quick workarounds has been to, if you guys notice, also, by the way, I force launched Clearmud.ai's new build a little too soon for Thursday's video because I recorded that video over a week prior. And it was saying, check the website for resources. Well, I didn't want to have to A, re-record the video, and B, delay the launch of the website. So I forced the launch. The OAuth wasn't working properly. I then opened up resources to just work without an OAuth login, right? But now it works. And what's interesting is over the weekend, Muddy, as GPT 5.4, couldn't figure it out. So instead, I had him build me out this terminal within Muddy OS. And it's not perfect. Mind you, it's not perfect. However, as you can see here, it spins up whatever project or whatever OS I want to work on. And then in line, I can spin up Claude, do the work, right, on whatever it is that I'm spinning up, whatever project it is that I'm working on, and then switch over back to my agent and say, hey, I just did this work in Claude CLI, right? Please make sure that, if we need to deploy it, let's deploy it. Whatever the task is for the agent, for Muddy, he can then do it. So this was my short-term workaround where I built out like an IDE, quote unquote, solution within Muddy OS that no matter where I am, right, in Muddy OS, I could spin up the terminal, do work. And what's interesting is, I was troubleshooting certain logins. So let's go back here. As you can see here, it successfully logs in. Let's clear this. And I was checking with Muddy to see, he gave me some solutions here, but then he said bypass, let's see. I suppose I could just work out of the terminal here, can't I? So let's refresh. And we're going to do Claude auth status. Logged in false. Yep. Claude. Where was that line here? I think we scrolled down a little bit. So I'm curious to see what's everyone doing. Right? So this is my current workaround. Successfully logged out of your Anthropic account. Sadly, there's really no solid workaround to have your agent directly use Claude in the CLI. Right now, at least. Nor am I going to recommend that because that's going to violate the terms of service. I'm sure somebody's working on a solution right now, but here's the problem with these solutions. People start sharing them. Claude is well aware of them. They will find ways to block them. So I think the solution, honestly, is find a new provider. It's my belief that Peter, let's actually go look at some of his recent, and it looks like Anthropic cut us off, GPT 5.4 got better, we moved on. Interesting, did 5.4 have a new release that I'm unaware of that they literally pushed? So it's my belief that our founder, Peter, is going to do his best to make GPT 5.4 much better and likable with your Openclaw agents. Now, the initial swap, it didn't feel that way. I didn't like the responses Muddy was giving me. There were big walls of text. One positive, though, is it did do the work. It just didn't do the work as quickly as I would have liked, right? Dreaming is now real, built-in video music generation. These are some interesting updates. Before we update, let me do a snapshot on this VM. And we're just going to update real time here. Let's take a snapshot real quick. And let me run login to see if this login is working. Okay, right on, right on. Well, thanks for staying up late to catch this one. I'm using Codex OAuth now with Quen 3.6 and 3.5 as fallbacks. Kimmy's good, but it's been bugged to leak leaking tool exec logs since March 11 Openclaw update. Okay, interesting. Good to know. Thank you. Tuning my main agent to smarter when orchestrating using API Opus 4.6 and using 5.4 and other cheaper. Okay, nice, nice. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid, right? Like, I don't mind paying for API usage for certain workflows and automations with Opus 4.6 and Sonnet. However, when it comes to having my primary agent, Muddy, my executive assistant, who I talk to a lot every single day, operate off of API usage, listen, I'm not gonna pay for that expense personally. Maybe down the road, once this channel starts making some money and I can support myself off of it. But for now, you know, it's not, right? We're doing all this for free. So, which reminds me, I do all this for free, boot camps for free. Ooh, this must be related to the snapshot. So the least you can do is do what you can do for free. Subscribe to the channel, press that like button below, and share this with a friend. That's all I ask. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a backdoor, right? So I essentially built like an IDE function, and I had Codex 5.4 do it for me, where I can spin up the terminal. So it's just like spinning up a terminal on your local machine, right? And then spinning up Claude to do the work, right? But today I discovered that, you know, I doubt they're the way that it's configured, there's no way for them to block it because Clearmud OS calls a local Claude CLI command, right? This is just an automation that I have in place from an old workflow. So it should in theory work, but I believe that the auth issues I'm running into are related to their current status, where they're having issues on Claude.ai, which handles their auth, right? So hopefully within the hour, it'll be fixed. I've been using Kimi 2.5 and Codex 5.4, depending on the agent. I'm gonna have to start testing Kimi more. They tuned some things in the last update. I have noticed a little bit of lag, but there's something I'm fine with. The update has fixed some of the frozen response issues. Okay, interesting. Interesting. So as soon as this snapshot's done, we're gonna update our Openclaw. I mean, my Muddy is still operating off of an older, let's see. Yeah, I'm still on 3.24 because it was working great. But now, you know, I'm gonna have to. Was that 3? Let's see. 4.5 already. Holy smokes. Yeah, wow. All right, I'm getting excited to test this. Now let's go back to Peter real quick. Oh, really? Wow, Theo discovered it. How do I get console logs out when I'm running this project in dev? Claude Code is unable to respond to this request, which appears to violate our usage policy. Wow. Is this the end of Claude? What do you guys think? Is this the downfall of Claude? Like, what's going on? Oh my goodness. What's up, Tracy? Hey, thanks for tuning in. I hope you drive safe. Safe travels to you. Yeah, okay. All my CLIs got bounced. You know, one thing I didn't test is, let's spin up a fresh cursor project and see if we can't log into Claude. Because if it's happening locally, I mean, it seems like it's happening everywhere. Man, Claude. Oof. Anthropic. They're probably not going to release this, but I would love to see a revenue projection from March to April to May, to see the differences, to see how many people canceled their subs. Now, being how vague they normally are, they're not going to release that information, but I would imagine they're going to take a big hit because of this. Let's just create a new test project under demos. We're just going to call this test. Open. All right. Man, did they do? Yeah, they did some updates. Let's spin up Claude. Okay, no, I mean, I'm in on my local machine, but let's just try to kind of like re-auth here. I was running into a timeout issue where I would hit authorize, it would time out on the VM, and then I'd get a status 500 error. Yeah, authorization failed, internal server error. So it's not just because of my VM, it's literally everywhere. So I'm wondering like, wow, oh my God, Anthropic. My goodness. Yeah. So listen, for those wondering, listen, this is not a paid promo, but the move is ChatGPT at this moment. Wow. More like, wow. Let me mute this tab. I like keeping that up just to ensure everything's working. Yeah. It really does feel like, I mean, listen, there's other alternatives, there's other providers, but it's my belief that Peter, you know, being on the OpenAI team, he is day by day doing his absolute best to make sure that that $200 a month plan is going to be the best option for Openclaw moving forward. I think we just need to have a little patience, right? Because this all just happened suddenly. So I wouldn't be surprised in the next week if we're all very, very happy with that codex or that GPT $200 a month sub. Like to know what AI model most used for their primary agent. I mean, up until Friday, it was Opus 4.6. And then I switched to GPT 5.4 personally for Muddy. Yo, what's up, Sharma? Kimmy for the win. I mean, I'm going to have to test it. Yeah, so explain what issues are you running into? I was running into just a lot of he was doing the work. I just didn't like how he was responding. It's like I did hundreds of hours of training Muddy, and while like the core fundamentals of him didn't change, the way he was responding was changing. And I thought that all that work I did on soul and identity wouldn't affect the switch that much, but it affected it a lot more than I thought it would, which I was sad about, very sad about. I never used Claude, and my CLI is working fine for CC. Just use it for debugging. Okay, nice. So maybe because you were already authenticated, you know, because I triggered the re-authentication, I think now we're just kind of at the mercy of this status here. Yeah, you know, Sean, I think Sean's right here. No, I don't think it's the downfall, but I think I'm going to use a dual workflow. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I really, you know, Claude is too good of a model, right? Well, rather, Opus 4.6 is too good of a model to fail, I think, outright. But if they keep shooting themselves in the foot, you know, I don't know if I'll keep my max sub. I'm going to keep it for now through the end of the month and continue to incorporate this Muddy OS workflow with the terminal inline so I can do work with Claude. So here's another thing I was sharing about our website is GPT 5.4 couldn't handle it as my primary agent. So I just spun up the terminal, did some work with Opus 4.6, high reasoning, and we got the OAuth loop working. So now you can actually log in with your Google OAuth, go to resources and view all of our free resources. And what's funny here is we forgot to check this on Friday's live stream, but we had Muddy prepare this paperclip versus Openclaw comparison, but we never came back to it. So I want to like go through it really quickly. This picks apart that interview that the founder Duda had with Greg Eisenberg, talks about key moments, does a nice identity comparison of the two. So check this out on the website. I mean, it's pretty legit. I'm loving it. And then a feature comparison, right? And then it really talks about, you know, the bottom line, right? They're not competitors. They're different layers of the same stack. So Paperclip is the project manager that knows what needs to happen. So, you know, I treat Openclaw as a project manager now, but I spent countless hours building that out. Paperclip comes ready to deploy as a project manager. So, you know, I'm going to have to start testing it very soon. It's on my to-do list to deploy one. I just haven't gotten around to it. GPT and Claude work together. Yeah, and I think, you know, like, listen, over the weekend I found a way to make them work, but now the OAuth in the CLI isn't working for Claude, so I can't use some commands in Clearmud OS, which is really bugging me. Okay. We're about to upgrade our OC here in a moment, so we'll find out. Yeah, I am on the $200 a month plan. Yes, on both. Still aren't that impressive, but in like a year, local versus corporate LLMs is going to be leasing it. Okay. That's I love the perspective here. If only Dario used Claude Work for his revenue strategy. Yeah, I noticed this at first, and through some kind of trial and error of just setting some new rules with Muddy, he was able to get through the work. I just noticed it wasn't as quick as it was with Claude's Opus 4.6. Yeah, hopefully they fix this with this recent update. Let's update and see how this goes. Okay. I think, Sharma, weren't you the one who brought Paperclip to our attention here on the channel, if I'm not mistaken? I'm trying to remember who was the first one to post. We've had quite a few people ask about it, but I'm trying to remember the first. I think it was you. All right, that snapshot is done. So we're just gonna update Openclaw here, shall we? And I haven't had a chance to browse Twitter today. I just kind of want to see. I like looking at his replies. Because early on, we're probably not going to see it high up in the feed. Let's see. Wow. Interesting. We see after this update, it's like, now we see Boris responding to everything promptly. Wow. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right, let's see what's up with this update. It's still running. Let's go check out the Openclaw community. Nice. Well, hey, I appreciate all the, the shares. And I discovered Hermes through somebody in chat here before the masses started posting about it on YouTube, which is really awesome. So keep it coming. Okay, I'm not going to just randomly browse that because that's just a lot of just random shit in there. Excuse my language. So I'm curious in chat. Like, I think I know the answer for a majority of us, but what was your first switch? Was it Codex or did you switch to Kimi or another model? I'm curious. I know my first go-to was GPT. And my reasoning behind it is I didn't think it would be the best, but I knew that, they're the only one to openly say you can use our subs with Openclaw, with your Openclaw agents. So It's that peace of mind that drew me to the GPT sub. Okay, interesting. Me personally, it's all locally. I don't have it front facing to where I can access it from anywhere in the world. I did this for a reason because I wanted to keep my environment sandboxed. But I'd be curious to see the rest of chat. If you're hosted on a VPS solution, chances are you have it front facing, right? There's really no other way around that there. But hopefully somebody else can give some insight to J-Bud here. Thanks for the questions. Prefer Hermes to paperclip. Do you need to combine Hermes and Openclaw? Yeah. One thing, like through my roughly 10 days of testing, is Hermes is great for back end, for code base, for engineering work, right? It's not going to replace my PM style work that I built out with MuddyOS and Openclaw. As my like primary executive assistant, it won't replace Muddy in that way. But I think it's going to be my new engineering department. I'm just refraining on making any videos from it until I'm very happy with that setup. Okay. Well, hey, at least you had more time on GPT. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, no, it's failing for everybody right now. They're having some outage issues. As you can see, if you check out, anytime you notice some weird issues with Claude, just go to status.claude.com and you'll find this page here, and it kind of keeps tabs on what's working, what's not. And all their auth goes through Claude.ai. So they're having a lot of errors right now. So we're just kind of at the mercy of them resolving these errors before we can properly authenticate in the CLI. So John was on Kimi 2.5 and then first switched to the $20 a month. That runs out in 3 days. So now he's going to try Gemma locally, but my room is getting too hot for the GPU, or from the GPU. Oh, wow. I might need another shot of espresso here. So it looks like Tracy is working off of Hostinger. Chat system that will work on phone notifications on my phone 99% of the time. Yeah, I think most users are, right? So creating a mobile friendly setup, I think, is the move. Like for me personally, the only way I use my MuddyOS or Clearmud or anything for that matter is I just talk to my agent on Telegram. And for the record, like all of my automations and stuff have been running just fine. I haven't been able to listen to today's executive sync. Let's do a hard refresh here on this page. Oh, I think we're mid-update, aren't we? All right, so we are on 4.5 now. So let's just, good practice, Openclaw, gateway, restart. And we're just going to run an Openclaw Dr. Fix here. I have a feeling this is going to break something, but we'll see. I have a feeling this is going to break something. Clearmud OS still loads. MuddyOS is still loading. Let's see if chat is loading. I mean, it's loading very slowly. We might have to copy this over to, okay, maybe not. Oh, and some new things I added over the weekend as well. I added this session manager into our chat as well. That way I can kind of just browse between any active sessions or any past sessions to kind of kick off any old things that we were working on. So let's just start with a new session here, shall we? And I also like Openclaw TY. Not connected to gateway, message not sent. Interesting. What could be causing that? Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's essentially just loading. Let's start a new session here. Oh, what's interesting, it's operating on think low. Let's think high, shall we? What is that? Personally went with Xiaomi. What's up, Timor? Welcome, new face, I love it. Thanks for being here. Forgive me if you've been here before and commented, but I try to remember everybody on the channel as best I can. I use Claude CLI in a sidecar. That doesn't infringe any regulations. Yeah, and I think this is the move moving forward, right? Like, just migrate your agent to another provider, but then you can still use Claude in the CLI with certain workflows. Like, I'll show you how Clearmud OS operates in a moment as soon as auth is working again locally. But the way I use it and the way it was set up, it does not violate terms of service. I just have a fancy front end that I built to kind of click a button instead of spinning up Claude CLI and then running a / generate command. I just use Tailscale. On a side note, Claude works with Hermes if you still really. So they just focused on Openclaw. I mean, per their update, it should be any third-party harness, right? So I feel like Hermes is going to get the next, nail in the coffin pretty soon. Orin, I hate to say it, but oh, okay. It thinks like an autist kind of, and I'm here for it. Okay, we might have to add this to my list. And I'm actually curious, like, is Elon in this realm? I know he's a busy man. Like, did he comment on this at all with Anthropic banning Openclaw? Like, is there any reference to improving Grok for Openclaw anywhere? I've been using Kimming for a month and Codex for my coder. Also have ChatGPT on another screen to go back and forth on some dev ideas. Nice, nice. Stuck with Kimmy since the start, knowing this day was coming. However, good Claude, I was refrained from giving it the temptation. Yeah, so I prefer, like, I do it a number of different ways. For this particular, as you saw me do it, I just did it in the terminal on my VM, right? In my sandbox VM for Muddy. In the past, I would just have Muddy do it for me, but I wanted to really be more hands-on. Alternatively, in the dashboard, you usually see this red bar across the top. When you're out of date, you can update there as well. So there's a number of ways to update. Let's switch to thinking high. Mix of GPT 5.2, 5.3, and 5.4. Nice whoosh. Quen, Minimax. Okay. Quen is literally dipping he's testing. I love it. Same here. Yeah. So, like, one solution I have, I'm going to be deploying my primary setup onto a server. Is it going to be front facing? I don't want to share that live. I'm going to be able to access it from anywhere in the world, but it's not going to be in the way that most people approach it, right? And I'll make a video about this down the road. But first, I want to get it working and be happy with the configuration before I share that setup with anybody. I have all my containers are running on my larger Proxmox server inside my network and using Cloudflare tunnels for DNS. Nice. Oh, wow, I'm behind on comments. Forgive me. I want to make sure I get to everybody's comment and questions and notes. But if you're just new tuning in, I'm curious, what are you doing to work around this Anthropic ban? Now, let's also use that word carefully. I realize I wrote banned in the title or bans in the title, but they're not banning accounts. They're just banning Openclaw from being utilized with their subscription models, right? It's not like you can't still use it with your API keys. So I want to be cautious about that. I do have a video coming out tomorrow. I'm going to record tomorrow. But this is kind of this whole OAuth issue with Claude right now is hindering the creation of that script and approach for that video. So I might have to go in a different direction for tomorrow's video, if I'm being honest. And then this should go without saying, but my deep dive for MuddyOS is going to be delayed because now I want to dial things in with GPT. And then we're going to do a deep dive, and I'm going to hand out master prompts that help you create, you know, a replica shell of MuddyOS. But then it's up to you to wire the backend per your industry, per your workflows, per your automations, etc. Let's go to the stand-up though, because while I didn't get pinged on Telegram, there's clearly a lot of things that broke with this transition. The meetings worked. I have one OC installing, running on a Mac Mini with OC updating Supabase and Vercel Hostar dashboard mission control. Okay, nice. Nice. Yeah, I plan on using Convex personally. I'm a big Convex fan, and this is the only reason, honestly. Like, they're very involved in the community first, and then they don't try to upsell you. So for custom domains on Supabase, you have to sign up for the $20 or $25 a month plan, and then you have to pay per project per domain. Another 10, 15 bucks. Convex, on the other hand, it's included in the $25 a month sub, professional sub, I believe, without any upsells. I hate the upsells. Like, be transparent with your pricing up front, and then you'll have me as a customer. Just be transparent in general, and you'll have me as a customer. I was using Telegram, but if I can't get my platform and chat system to work, I can just use Telegram for troubleshooting when my chat system goes down. I get lost using multiple systems. Yeah, me and you both. Like, my Telegram serves as a purpose for when I'm on the go, on the move. I need to drop a voice note right into Telegram, and then Muddy depicts that, downloads the transcript, takes action on what I talk about in that voice note. Hey, thank you, Timor. I really appreciate this. Really appreciate the feedback, and I'm glad it's bringing value. You know, it's my focus to improve with each and every new video I release. So, baby steps to greatness. You can't use it for your main orchestrator. It's a high fabrication rate. Tested it myself. It's great for coding though. OpenAI OAuth exhausted quota super fast. Interesting. Good to know. Yeah. Convex is an alternative to Supabase. So the way it works is slightly different. It's more real time than, now listen, I'm also not the person to ask, right? I think asking your agent or asking any AI to break down the comparison between Convex and Supabase is the move, but Raz Mike, which if you're in the industry, you've probably heard of him. I'm a big fan of his content and his approach and the way he explains things. I learned about Convex through him like many months ago. I believe he's now on the Convex team. I'm not sure if he was on the Convex team early on, but he breaks down a lot of the key differences. Same with Theo. He has a great video, Convex Supabase. I think from 2 months ago. I would highly recommend go and watch these videos about the differences between Convex and Supabase from actual software engineers, because I am not that. I am a network engineer. It's completely different. And I'm also retired. I don't practice that work anymore. So I'm just here vibing with the rest of you. But yeah, I don't want to speak on something that, you know, other creators have taken the time to create great videos around. So go check out these videos to learn the key differences and why you should switch. Listen, this is not me trying to tell you to get off of Supabase. One of my projects still works off of Supabase, right? But you know, moving forward, I'm building out everything with Convex when I need a database, when it's not just local storage. No, I do not use Dockers inside of my VM personally. Hey, thanks, J-Bud. I really appreciate you. I just use my Proxmox stack for hosting. If I need 100% uptime, I have a Proxmox host in the cloud. Nice, nice. Then I control the surfaces that I use. Love it, love it. And see, like, everyone has their own approach here, right? Go with what works for you. right? Like, don't just follow someone because they made a piece of content around using a particular hosting provider or a particular database. Like, go with what you know. I'm a big believer in that. Like, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? If you got things working in a certain way, keep it working in a certain way. Explore these other options, and then migrate once you feel comfortable. But I love that Matthew is, he has his own approach here, and this is solid. Like, I can't preach this enough. Don't just follow the crowd. Do what you know best, right? And what I know best is virtual environments as well. Just with my past experience, this is why I am migrating all of my sandboxed VMs to a VMware ESXi server, because I understand that infrastructure. I know how to host it. I know how to make sure it's secure and not vulnerable to the outside world, right? But that's not for everybody. Not everybody has the hardware to do that as well, right? So like, I may tell you I'm using a VM, but I'm not telling you to use a VM, right? If VPS hosting works for you, great. I plan on deploying a new OC setup with Codex. I'm not sure on the provider yet. I've had a lot of providers reach out to me, but I'm not sure I'm gonna take a sponsorship for this one. I really wanna kind of pick the best one that I think will work for me. And then I'll make videos around VPS hosted OC solutions, but I'm not doing that yet because listen, I don't use that natively. I'm not gonna go make a video around something just because it's gonna generate clicks. That's not my approach here. I had issues with my doctor, so I let run on host. It's only for OC. Yeah. Like, this is why I love my sandbox VM. This is a great alternative to not having to go buy a Mac Mini, right? I think the greatest use case for a Mac Mini is not having it tied to your personal setup, right? It's its own setup. I get that approach, right? But you can also sandbox things with your existing MacBook infrastructure. Like, I'm using an M1 Max for this, and I have 3 VMs running at any given time. How did you get around the Openclaw bug that pins sessions to their creation model, creating an infinite loop fallback chains and never sets on a model? All right. You might be the only, I doubt you're the only one with that bug first and foremost. I highly doubt you're the only one. But let me wrap my head around this question, because I'm like, it just went in a loop. I mean, you're running into an infinite loop, and I just had this infinite loop of thoughts as I was reading this. So from what I understand, right, like let's say you're operating off of the main agent chat, or are you talking about sub-agent session chats? I think the solution here is type /new and see if that resolves your problems, which, by the way, for everybody here, every morning I start with a /new with my main agent chat. Always. I do not let that context window carry over from day to day. It's a good rule of thumb. It's a good practice to keep costs down, or to keep usage down rather. Yeah. You and me both. Now, mine's a little bit more virtual, right? But like at the end of the day, it's tied to a physical power button as well. I'm with you on that, Matthew. And see, this is like, I can't preach enough. Like, go with what you know, go with what brings you comfort and peace of mind, right? Don't go follow a solution that you don't understand thoroughly, right? Because chances are your system will get hacked. That's just how it is. Let me explain. I have a fallback chain of models. Okay. In case one fails, it switches to the next. This bug throws the chain into an infinite loop. Interesting. Not yet, sadly. This weekend, I had so many things on my list, and the Anthropic ban just said nope. I then focused on Muddy OS all weekend. Okay. My solution would be to remove the fallbacks, start with one fallback and test to make sure that fallback works. And then once you're happy with that, add that third fallback and that fourth fallback and so forth and so forth. But, short answer, I have not run into that. But long answer is I would definitely take the simpler approach and like remove all the fallbacks, just add one, make sure it works, then add the second, then test it, validate that works, and then add the third. Maybe it just needs a refresh a reconfiguration of its openclaw.json there, and any underlying config files. That would be my approach, Timor. Great question. But I haven't seen anybody else ask this question. But I'm sure it exists out there. Evercron midnight, saving the day chat log and starting a new session. Nice. This is thinking ahead here. I like just the peace of mind knowing that I typed /new, right? All right. So let's just make sure my chat is updated. Oh yeah, as you can see, our meetings ran today. Let's play.
Monday sync.
Yeah, everything's still running. I just didn't get notified. The delivery channels in Telegram aren't working since the swap. I need to look into that. Yeah. So where do we stand with monitoring? We have applied a fix about 9 minutes ago and are seeing success rates recover across affected services. We are continuing. Okay, listen, let me go ahead and test, shall we? Let's split this over to the right. There we go. Login successful. Wonderful. All right. So now, let me do a hard refresh, see if this works now. I already have that video there. 3 workarounds to using Claude with Openclaw. Let's highlight our workarounds in Clearmud OS with our /commands, our IDE build, IDE feature with the terminal in Muddy OS, and then finally finding a new provider and giving the middle finger to Anthropic. Gotta love it. So hopefully this runs without error. Yeah, during the initial swap, I did notice the script ran. It ran with Opus on turn 1 and then Sonnet on turn 2. However, it wasn't displaying the script in line like it used to. It just referenced me to a markdown file. But I did test, I made this script yesterday. I don't think I was just testing the script idea, but everything still works. The carrying over from the script to the add to calendar feature, it adds the base title, it gives me the hook, it gives me all my title options. It copied everything over seamlessly. It was great. So, and then I was doing ideation earlier, it worked. And now we're just waiting for output. It hasn't errored out yet, which is a good sign. So let's wait and see what happens here, shall we? I just tried updating Openclaw. Listen, I'm actually, I'm going to squirrel from this comment. I'm shocked that updating Openclaw didn't break anything in Muddy OS. I'm very, very shocked by that. Oh, running in Docker, but the upgrade broke the config, trying to get Claude to fix it. Interesting. So did it successfully update? It's just now things won't load? Where are you in that process? I'm trying to understand this a little better. Interesting. So Claude fixed it, but Doctor didn't. Interesting. Hey, maybe you're not alone, John. Maybe share the fix in here, if you don't mind, of course. Hey, what's up, For Soil? Hey, thanks for being here. I appreciate the feedback. I hope they continue to bring value. You know, it's my focus with each new video, I improve on something, whether that's my delivery, whether that is the way I communicate, right? The video props I create, which by the way, I'm curious to see, you know, we have a front-end design skill that creates those props, but after we create this script, I'm gonna have Muddy, which is now operating off of Codex, prep us a prop to see what happens. But yeah, it's my focus on improving with each video, editing technique, approach, et cetera, et cetera. So any comments that you have that I can do to improve, let me know. Like I'm really all about constructive criticism and community feedback. So thanks for being here. Appreciate you. For syncs, do you give your agents a shared workspace where they push and pull ideas or spawn a session from the main agent who mediates the meetings? Yes, I do. Short answer, yes, I do. In MuddyOS, I created a certain workspace that has shared meeting memory here. So they always pull, oh wow, some improvements was made to this. I'm actually curious, you know, it's been such a whirlwind of 3 days. Wow, the self-improvements have been shipping. I haven't looked at self-improvements since Thursday, if I'm being honest with you. So a lot has happened here. So now like navigating through MuddyOS, it's actually kind of surprising me. That's hilarious. But yes, I do have a shared meeting area. And then I do have a board which they operate off of, which is, wow, I need to review this. A lot has been happening. The pipeline as well that they control. I don't touch this. So let's see where we are here. Oh, okay. Looks like we did run into an error. Let's go see what's going on here. Interesting. Now, let me go into files, research here, and let's scroll down to yeah, so it did the research. It's just not showing it. Let's see, the workarounds, okay. And then it gives me the strategies. The issue now is it's not feeding it through that terminal preview. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna take that approach there. Anthropic bland Openclaw, so I built my own system. That doesn't really apply. 3 ways I ditched Anthropic after they banned. Yeah, I'm gonna have to readjust the approach for this video. Listen, I think I'm just gonna use the script writer for the sake of the optimized YouTube description, the tags, etc. But then I'm just gonna vibe a video recording tomorrow showing off, you know, the approach I take to calling Claude in the CLI for these old Claude CLI plus Obsidian workflows, which now have a front end, how I built my own IDE-like terminal in MuddyOS, and then just why I switched to GPT. That'll probably have to be the video, if I'm being honest with you. But let's troubleshoot why this isn't working. Yeah, so I can see that the research was done. I do see the research file with the 3 different strategy options, but I didn't see any record of it within our, oh, actually, it was waiting for output and now it sees the output. And now I can select the strategy in line. So there was a big delay. It's not real-time streaming the Claude CLI output. Interesting. Let me pick a strategy real quick. I think I'm gonna go with strategy 1, but I don't like the Rebellion Builder. Yeah, let's go with strategy 1. And let's test the rest of this workflow here. Yeah, so it is now working. There was just an incredible like 2 or 3 minute delay to where the research file was done, it was created, but it didn't stream within that kind of terminal preview in the YouTube script command in Clearmud OS. So as you guys can see, this workaround is working. It's a little buggy right now, right? But you know, here's a solution for you if you want to try this. Like, build out your own Claude project, Claude built project with / commands in the CLI, bring it into Openclaw, build a front end for it, and have it call Claude CLI on the back end via REST API. And this is a great workaround where your primary agent is still operating off of whatever your primary model is. However, that workflow, that automation, that project you created in the Claude CLI that runs off of /generate or /commands for that matter, still use whatever Claude model you specify, right? So this is a nice little workaround here. And I want to highlight this actually in a video for tomorrow. I think this is going to be very valuable. But first, let's get this script output created. Let's make some edits. And I'm actually curious, like, since I updated, this is what I don't like. Like, Muddy off of Opus 4.6, he just responded more like a human. This to me feels like a wall of text. It feels like a GPT response. I don't like it. I don't like it. Ah, my goodness, good, that narrows it down. Sounds like the research step failed. No, the research step did not fail. What I'm telling you is the research file was created. It's the streaming of the research file took 3 or 4 minutes to hit the preview within the YouTube script terminal preview. I just did a turn 2. I selected strategy 1. So let's see if it creates the output for the script. But you are mistaken there. Yeah, the core workflow is alive, but the UX is lying. Okay, I guess I get your approach. Lying for 2 to 3 minutes, which is still a bug. Research generation completed successfully. Go ahead with strategy 1 for this test. Once you run the test flow, I'll treat the current bug as not a broken pipeline, a delayed output streaming sync. Yes, a delayed output and streaming sync issue in Clearmud OS. Primarily for the YouTube -script /command that we run out of the Claude CLI. So I do want you to investigate that, but stay tuned. I want to see the final output of this script first. Hey, Chris. Thank you. I'm glad they're bringing value. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, if you ever have any questions, I just finished up some side work and I have a lot more free time now, thankfully, so I can actually get to all the comments and make sure that I don't get behind on taking too long to respond to people. But I always try to read and apply any constructive criticism or feedback to improving my process and making new videos. So I'm all ears, but hey, I'm glad they've been helpful with understanding Openclaw. That's it's my goal to improve with each new video. So thanks for being here. The fix was fix my Openclaw. That's awesome. It tried Doctor. Now, one thing I have noticed with Openclaw Doctor, if you don't hit that -- fix for it to force fix, it doesn't actually fix it. Did you use the Openclaw Doctor -- fix, or did you just run Openclaw Doctor? I'm noticing those two different commands have two different outputs. I need a better front end skill for my agents. I don't know if it's GPT 5.4 or what it is. Everything feels bloated. Do you have a front end skill? I personally don't have a public facing front end skill. I've created all of my front end skills, and I hate to push this Anthropic front end design skill, but I used Anthropic's front end design skill as like the base. And then, I had my agent copy this skill, and then we fine tune it per our branding, per whatever text we want, per whatever modules we want to use. Shade CN modules are the ones I prefer, right? So ui.shadcn.com. I love all of these modules and components. Another one is kibo-ui.com. Their components are pretty cool. So it's just a matter of talking to your agent and say, hey, I'd like to create a new front-end design skill based off of this template, but I want to use X, Y, and Z. And then you specify what typography do you want? What kind of branding do you want? What's your primary, secondary branding color? Or do you only have a primary and you want it to pick the best complementing shades of that hex color, right? So give the hex code. And then tell it what components you want to utilize in this front-end design skill. And then it'll craft one for you. But now you're giving me an idea. Maybe I'm going to have to create some front-facing front-end design skills for people. Yeah, 5.4 in OC is rough, even with friendly overlay. Surprisingly, StepFun 3.5. Interesting. I'm going to have to look into that one. Flagship X, never got to enjoy Claw on Claude. I was using Gemini Pro and thought my Claw was cold and not like the persona I crafted. Minimax 2.4 was like watching my Claw come to life. Interesting. Good to know. Good to know. This was the log. Openclaw doctor -- fix config invalid file. Yeah, it's that -- fix. So running Openclaw doctor usually just analyzes the issue, but it doesn't apply an automatic fix. Whereas Openclaw doctor -- fix just takes action on it. Now, always back up your system before you do it. If you're operating on a VM like me, don't make the mistake I made over the weekend. I actually did break my system trying to incorporate the Claude CLI workaround, which was essentially not working. I didn't make a snapshot of my VM before I did that. I went against my own rule, and I spent like 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Fixing it. It was not fun. I fixed it. It just was not fun. So. Yeah. Hey, and 3.1 Pro is great for UI and UX related work for sure. I'm actually going to have to, you know what? Do we just do it live here? Do we do it live? Huh. Let's go back really quickly. I just want to make sure. Oh, wow. I've been voice to texting that whole thing. That's too much. Wow. Let's open up a new note. Wow. Let me delete all that. No, once you run the test flow. Okay, that's the prompt I want to give to MuddyOS. So we can view full output. We can see my script writing process is still working flawlessly. I can tell that it's still Sonnet that's running it. So this is great, right? Opus is on turn 1, Sonnet's on turn 2. This is unchanged, right? Because this actually does call Claude in the CLI in its own session. So it's not triggered by my agent, right? This is an old workflow that I built here on the channel, by the way. If you go back and look at, I think the best way to find the links to how I built these things is Clearmud-OS. This one. I built this AI content suite. I break down Clearmud OS, and then I break down like every feature I build, and I reference every video I made that built them. So let's go. Yeah. This video here teaches you how to build your own / command system with different outputs, right? Depending on like what you want to do. As you can see here, / YouTube script / command. So like I built a lot of these tools live, and then I incorporated them into this nice front end at some point, right? So this still uses Claude CLI to call these commands, which is great. Let's add to calendar, make sure this still works. Yep, everything copied over, description, script, keywords, LinkedIn post, perfect. So let's just read its hook really quick. 2 days ago, Anthropic banned Openclaw users from using their Claude subscription, and the internet lost its mind. Now, if you watched my last video, you know the options. I actually didn't. It's referencing my last video because I generated that script, but I don't think I'm going to record that script. So I'll have to edit the hook here. But yeah, I would essentially just use this hook for tomorrow's video, and then I'm going to show off how Clearmud OS works with the YouTube script command here. Show off the IDE that we've built here. That allows us to spin up Claude. And then just tell you, just go sign up for another provider. That's gonna be the gist of that video, I think is the move. Strange issue today. GPT plus OAuth ignores me in Openclaw. Changed OpenRouter. Interesting. Interesting. For content or agentic chat interaction, Claude is going to be the most creative. Talking to Claude models is like talking to a tech bro in San Francisco. Codex is some odd German techno hacker. Those are some great analogies to personalities, the personas of each model. I love that. I spent 5 hours on Saturday to move all my heartbeats cron jobs to Minimax. Yeah, it was not fun. I had to migrate all of my existing crons. Now, I still need to go through each one with a fine-tooth comb and fix them. Everything, I did move pretty much all automations off of Claude, but now certain delivery mechanisms aren't working. So I still have to take this week to be methodical about just being patient first and foremost, and going through each tab, each feature. Clearly, all my automations are still working. I'm just not getting pinged in Telegram anymore, which it really is annoying. So I'll fix that. The Claude workaround is only work if you enable additional usage. Yeah. Listen, the Claude CLI workaround that people gave, it doesn't actually work. So I wouldn't even go that direction. Listen, I hate to say it. This is not a paid promo, but it's a matter of if you can't find a way to use it within the terms of service, their updated terms of service, just cancel, right? I found ways to use it inline, right? So like anywhere in MuddyOS, I can do work in the Claude CLI down here. I can go full screen. I'm going to incorporate a chat feature, but I can also split the terminal if there's something else I want to work on real time. So I kind of built out my own ghosty in a way here. So I can work on MuddyOS here and Clearmud OS here, right? All inline. And then I can prompt my agent like, hey, I just did work in these two code bases. Make sure they're applied, make sure there's working, make sure everything's wired in properly, right? Essentially. Your advice on the last video to create a skill for a job instead of a massive prompt in the crowns was gold. I used a lot to streamline. Hey, I'm happy to hear this. I'm very happy to hear this. And I think like the reason a lot of my automations are still working is because I created those skills plus crons. I have a feeling my outputs would have been much different. The only things that aren't working are the delivery channels. But the morning briefs, since the swap, they are still styled the same way. That still gives me the data I want to see. Everything's solid. It's just the delivery channels did not carry over, which I'm bugged. It's really annoying that didn't work, but very minor in the grand scheme of things. So I'm happy to hear that brought some value. And keep in mind, like that recommendation isn't for every single cron. It's for most all crons. I think there's still use cases for not creating a skill for a cron, but it's very specific, right? It's very, very specific to your use case, to the automation, to the workflow. But I think for a majority of cron jobs, you're better off having that skill, that cron point to a skill MD where you then define the workflow or automation. What do you mean? How I built this CLI within my OS, or just how to use the CLI in general? All right, so this works great. Wonderful. What's a video idea that I haven't done yet? Yes, I checked it out thanks to Theo's video. I gotta say, I love it as well. I love it for working on things locally. The reason I don't use CMux for anything MuddyOS related is because this is in its own sandboxed VM, and I don't want to set up SSH access. Yes, it's all local. Yes, I don't have to worry about security in that way. But I wanted to build my own terminal solution in line with my hosted server that's hosted locally on this IP address, right? Let me remove that comment so you can see here. I don't want to have to SSH in to the terminal to access this file structure. I'd rather do this all inline. So that's why I created this solution in MuddyOS to do this. I'm honestly very, very curious what would happen. In general, I do have a video planned. Maybe I'll focus on releasing this Thursday. Let me go to it. So it's a very basic video, and I think for 90% of the audience who watches the channel, it might not be valuable, but for 10 to 20%, Let me rephrase that. Maybe 60%, maybe 40% of you would find value in this. But I have this video planned where I teach you how to install Claude Code, Gemini, and Codex in the CLI, and then just quick tips and tricks on how to use those in the CLI. This is meant for true beginners, right? True beginners who have 0 IDEs installed, who have never typed in Claude in a terminal, who have never typed in Codex in a terminal, who have never typed in Gemini in a terminal. You know, I'm sure most people who don't do the prerequisites to installing each of these setups, they try to type in Gemini in the CLI and nothing happens, right? So that's who this video is for. So just put a 1 in chat if you want to see me launch this one this week, and I'll record it tomorrow and make sure it's done and deployed by Thursday at the latest. But, you know, as I mentioned, like for a majority of the audience, you probably won't find value in this video. This is meant for true beginners who have never installed anything in the CLI and want to start working out of the CLI. Yeah. And I think your workaround is great too. I love CMux. Anything locally on my host, I use CMux now. It's solid. I love it. But yeah, that's why I did it my way. Okay, right on. Let's go. Let's go. This is good to hear. Hey, 1 is enough for me, so I'll record that tomorrow. I'm not sure if it'll launch tomorrow or Thursday, but I'm going to make sure to record both videos tomorrow, edit tomorrow's by the end of the day. And yeah. So thank you. I'll make sure that this one pushes through this week. Let's actually move this over to, even though I'm not done with the thumbnails, let me just add this note so that I see it here in line, thumbnails. And then what else are we going to push? I think this is going to be the one as well. Thumbnails. So let me edit this a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say that's true. I kind of like that line, but custom/commands, a browser-based IDE. Okay, I'm going to edit this hook a little bit more. And then the rest, I'm just going to vibe. I'm just going to show off Clearmud OS. I'm going to show off the YouTube script automation. One thing I'm noticing though, let's, how to build your own IDE terminal in your Openclaw dashboard. Let's use the work we did on Mighty OS as an example. So I'm going to run that script here in a moment. I've never used cursor in CLI, but told my coding agent to roll it out for himself. Right on. Of course, of course. I know we're in the middle of something. I kind of want to personally just quickly switch the model here to 3.1 Pro. I also need to remove my Anthropic link to my config file, but I kind of want to switch it and see what happens. Let's see what his personality's like. Maybe this is the secret hack. Think high. Oh no, thinking. Okay, I guess it would be think then. Yeah, hi. Okay, that's taking way too long to respond. That is taking way too long to respond. "26 seconds. I mean, I guess I did give a / command. Let's go over to Mighty OS. Taking its sweet time to respond, eh? Yeah, it really depends. I use an IDE when I want to have an easy access to the file tree that I'm working on, you know, the project file tree. But if I already know and don't need the visual proof of it working on certain files, I don't really care for it. One benefit of using an IDE though is, you know, you have that file tree, you have the terminal, you can split the terminal, you can create as many sessions as you'd like. And then additionally, you have the preview up top, right? You can preview a file, the code base, a markdown file, and this raw output, or even in most IDEs now, you can preview a local preview of the build in line, all in one screen. So that's really an added benefit to working out of an IDE. Okay, nice, nice. Yeah, and I presume that the login's working for everybody, right? Man, this was a fun experience. This was a fun experience. So far, do you feel the update has addressed any of the issues? Which update? I'm having a short-term memory issue right now. Which update? Well, then why don't you, you know, one great use case for the CLI is, let's say you want to build out a iOS app. Well, you can spin up Xcode, right? And then have a CLI both operating off of the same project directory, right? And that's where you can really vibe code an Xcode project without using Xcode. You open Xcode, open the project directory, open up a terminal window, navigate to that project directory, spin up Claude or whatever your preferred model is and say, hey, this is an Xcode project. You know, I want you to help me build out this mobile app for Xcode, right? So I can start testing it on iOS. Riley Brown has a great demonstration with this. I never got around to this type of content. If you haven't found Riley Brown, he's a great, he's been in the industry quite some time. Let's see, Riley Brown, iOS, Xcode. No, I think he's promoting his own vibe code app here. He has a video somewhere where he shows on screen, he spins up Xcode and he spins up a CLI and he's building it out of the CLI, but then previewing it in Xcode. So, but yeah, he's worth a sub if you haven't discovered this channel yet. Shout out Riley Brown, one of the early inspirations of this channel. Oh, does it now? Does it now? Interesting. Oh, the OC update. Okay, when it comes to the personality, I haven't noticed a major difference. What model are you using? So I switched it in the TUI. Let's see if it recognizes. Taking a while to respond. Like, wow. The speed is horrible with Gemini 3.1 Pro. Interesting. So I'm just having a raw conversation. Interesting. Let's see if I can access that session. Oh, that's a different session. No, main TUI. No, that was an earlier. I mean, I can ask him to do it, or I can do this manually as well. Let's go see. Let's go to our agents. Close out of that. Spin up the TUI again. I'm just curious to see, oh, Openclaw. And I can't spell. Interesting. Let's see if I can't just manually switch it here without having to, and I'm gonna remove that fallback. That's cool how you have this kind of preview of fallbacks. So gateway is restarting. Give me 1 second. I need to take a quick break. All right, we are back. Oh, catch up on some comments here real quick. Agentic coding allows to 6.3, allows AI agents like Claude. Okay, nice. Good to know. Yeah, right here. God busy knows. My unpopular IDE choice is anti-gravity, mainly for... Yeah, listen, I loved anti-gravity when it was working for me, but it stopped working. I went through countless hours of troubleshooting, removing it, running all the suggested command lines to essentially remove any trace of anti-gravity, then reinstalling it. Still doesn't work on my version of Mac OS X, so I just stopped using it. I'd love to start using it again. I loved it. I built out a few fun projects with it. I just loved the interface, but it was just too buggy. And then it finally broke. And I haven't taken the time to figure it out. I just use Gemini and the CLI now. Personally, that's just me. Yeah. Yeah, listen, I was a big anti-gravity advocate, but then it stopped working for me. So I love to hear that it's working for you. I'll give it another chance once I get a new Mac. I'll try reinstalling it at that point, but until then, I'm not going to waste any more time with it personally. This is not me telling you not to use it. Listen, I'm a big advocate for you use what you like most, right? What you enjoy to use most, use what you know most. Yo, what's up, Sammy? Hey, well, I'm happy to hear you finally caught a live stream. I'm curious, if you don't mind me asking, what time zone are you in? I have a feeling maybe it's the time zones, right? Maybe it's either midnight for you already or middle of the night, or maybe it's during work hours where you just can't tune in live. I respect that. But, you know, we might be shifting the live stream time, start time when I get back to California. But, you know, before the Openclaw ban, I was going to originally like move it up a few hours to avoid the peak hours for Claude Code. But now that they banned it, it's like, well, I don't need to worry about that as much. So, yeah. Google Stitch, good for developing. Yeah, Google Stitch is great for visualizing everything, creating different views, and then bringing it all together in, you know, I'm sure there's a seamless integration from Stitch to anti-gravity, I'd imagine, but I haven't been able to test that personally. But I've been hearing a lot of good things from Stitch. Yeah. Yeah, like first it was buggy, like intermittently, and then even now with my Google AI Ultra sub, just doesn't work. Never get it to work. And I've tried more than a handful of times. I've given it 5 chances now at this point, and I just can't continue to spend time trying to get it to work. I'm using Claude and Olama on local. Do you recommend Quen? I would only recommend something I've personally used. So here's my recommendation. I'd say test both and go with what feels right, right? Because I haven't had the chance to test those. So I can't really give you a recommendation as far as what direction I'd go in. I'm a big advocate for testing first and then making that decision after you have some hands-on testing. Because let's face it, like what works for me may not work for you, right? What works for some other creator may not work for you. They may promote something, your experience with it may not be the same as their experience with it, right? That's why I'm a big advocate. Testing. Figure out what works for you, right? Because one model can work for you, but it may not work for me. So my first live too. Hey, right on. Well, hey, yeah, I know it's midday in Eastern, right? So it's 12 p.m. I want to keep consistent with this stream time because I stream between Europe and California. I live in both places. So as I move between these two continents, I want to make sure that no matter where I am, like over here, I start at 5 p.m., bearing the time zone change. But when I'm back in Pacific, I'll start at 9 a.m. And that allows me to be consistent so that everybody else can always depend on that start time, no matter what country I'm in. And I love that idea. I might have to move it back an hour or two, which would still allow me to be consistent. For now, this is the start time, 5 p.m. European, Western European, and then 9 a.m. Pacific. So right now I use 5.4 as my primary agent, but then I use Gemini CLI with 3.1 Pro. And then I still use Claude, but it's for specific / commands that I built out from old workflows where I built out a Claude CLI project that had a / command. I essentially carried that project over into my Openclaw setup, my workspace, and then I built a front end for it. So the front end simply gives me these visuals, but it still calls on Claude and the CLI. So this is one workaround if you want to continue using your Claude sub. The only negative is your primary agent can't use the Claude sub, right? But if you build out certain CLI-based commands, you can still use that subscription through a front-end build through your Openclaw, as I'm doing here. So it's very, very specific, but those are the models I primarily use. Hope that answers it. Yeah. Hey, thanks for understanding. Like, I want to be able to answer every question with confidence. And if I don't have confidence in my answer, I'm going to be very transparent about it, So yeah, hope that helps. But as of now, I am paying for, I canceled one of the 2 Claude Max subs I had because it's just pointless at this point. I still have 1 Claude Max sub. And then I upgraded to GPT Pro for $200 a month. And then I pay for Google AI Ultra. As of now, I still have the 60% off. So I pay $116 a month, but that's going to jump up to $250 a month, which is steep. It's steep, but, it's justified with what I use it for. So yeah, between those 3 subscriptions, that's how I operate. And listen, it works. So that's why I haven't explored other models yet. All right, what were we doing before I took that break? So we had swapped over. Let's do a quick hard refresh. Hey, right on. Right on. Hey, thanks for being here. I'm glad you found I'm glad you enjoyed that video, you know? It's a bummer that a lot of the videos I've made with Opus 4.6, it's not that they're like irrelevant. It still shows you how Openclaw works. It's just like, man, Anthropic, just letting us down as an industry over here. It's like they're against open source. It's like the message I'm getting is they're against open source. And what's shocking to me is OpenAI is the one who is the first model who has been open about you can use our subs for your Openclaw agent. Now, of course, that comes with the acquisition of Peter Steinberg. But nevertheless, out of the two, I was like, I would have expected Anthropic to take that approach and snipe Peter, but they did not. I just upgraded to the $200 a month plan because I didn't want to run into any usage limits. I was operating on the $20 a month plan prior to the ban from Anthropic because I had only used GPT 5.4 codex for security audits and code, like back-end code-based structure, where that type of work was minimal, right? So like the $20 a month plan worked great for me. I never ran into a 5-hour usage window, nothing. But I wanted to kind of predict, like, I'm also working on another piece of content and planning another boot camp where we build Openclaw, a new Openclaw setup from scratch with GPT only, to compare the two boot camps, right? We built the first one with Claude Opus 4.6. Now we're going to build one with, probably by the time I launch that boot camp, we'll be on GPT 5.5, unless they just skip to 6, which I don't understand why they would. Damn, I just moved my OC from Opus to GPT-4 in the wall of text. I know, right? Interesting. So me swapping the agent primary model in the Openclaw dashboard didn't apply? Weird. Can you do it for me? No, you can use your OAuth login. I don't know where you're getting that from, but your expenses should not exceed that of your monthly expense. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. OpenAI and ChatGPT with Openclaw. What we know. Oh no, I don't want to search with Google. Come on now. Search with Brave. We get better results. I gotta say, I love Brave browser search, or Brave search rather, especially the AI responses. I feel like they're less filtered, and I just like the responses better than Google responses. I'm just gonna put it that way. I don't want to get banned here. It's just my preference. Let's see. Interesting. Yeah, so Codex OAuth, that's the specific way to configure your GPT with Openclaw. That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, so you can use an API key to pay for it if you want, but if you sign up, if you set it up with Codex OAuth, you're fine. That's the differentiator there. Okay. Thanks for validating, Ryan. I actually hatched my Openclaw with ChatGPT and also purchased, it's like they required it or something. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, no, you should be able to, like if I were to go through like let's say you're going through your Openclaw. For anybody who's curious about this as well, I would just go through Openclaw onboard right here. Understand the risks, yes. Why isn't that clicked in? Okay, let's go quick start. Let's go to update values. And let's say you're at this section here, model auth provider. What you want to do, go down to OpenAI Codex. And this is where you go through that auth, right? So set it up this way, because then you'll use your OpenAI Codex rather than an OpenAI. Now, I'm pretty sure if I were to go back, I don't want to go through that process right now because I'm already authed. But let's go check that other option. I believe that other option has an OAuth feature as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go check. Let's learn this together here. Now, I had already had Codex OAuth authenticated before the swap. And since it was the same subscription, I just upgraded it and I said, okay, let's start using our GPT 5.4 Codex model as our primary model because, and then I didn't have to do any auth. It was a seamless transition. I did it about 30 minutes prior to the cutoff to ensure that I didn't have to do it manually. I had Muddy at the time, Opus 4.6, do it for me. Update values. So let's go down to just OpenAI here. Yeah. So you see the difference there? OpenAI, you have to enter an API key. Whereas, how do you go back in I hate having to spin up this Openclaw onboard each time. There's got to be a hotkey that just goes back, right? Whereas if you select OpenAI Codex or Codex OAuth, you then won't have to, yeah. Of course, yeah, these live streams stay live. Hey, I appreciate you for tuning in when you can. I hope your boss doesn't get mad at me. But yeah, these live streams stay live. I don't remove live streams. Could I ask what you are using your agent for, like creating another app or what? So I'm using my agent for day-to-day Clearmud operations. I've built out this, kind of project management suite of tools that has its own operations dashboard with its own modules for me to manage things, for me to visualize things, for them to have their own PM board. Let me remove this comment because it hides a lot of the top stuff here. So I built out a lot of this for kind of monitoring things, but then the brain, this is where I can come in and view my automations, projects that are being worked on, memory files, all of our skills are in here, a way for me to visualize everything. I then have this laboratory, which kind of just logs my self-improvement build cron jobs for the OS. But this is like day-to-day operations of Clearmud. And then this is content creation for Clearmud. They're two different web servers, hosted locally, of course. But my Openclaw agent and agents have built and manage all of this for me, right? So I essentially built out this Openclaw setup that you see to free up my time so I can continue focusing on these live streams and making each video better than the last, right? I'm essentially freeing up time to make these, right? I do have other OC setups that I will not show at this moment. One's gonna be a legal and finance setup for kind of taxes and certain things like that. But hope that answers your question. Like for me, the ROI I'm trying to get from this is time. How much time can I free up and how long can I stay a one-man show for as long as possible? So that's what I've built, right? That's what I've slowly been building out with Muddy OS and Clearmud OS. It just allows me to stay by myself, right? To do things on my own, to be a one-man show for as long as humanly possible, while also having a lot of agents that help me get there, right? If you go to my team, you can kind of see the agent structure that I have. Now, this might be a little buggy as I haven't worked on this yet since the transition. Let's see. Yeah, no. So the OpenAI Max plan, you authenticate through the Codex OAuth login, not the OpenAI login on the Openclaw onboard, as you saw here. I'll pull it up one more time so you can see the difference. Let's go to quick start, update values. So you see here OpenAI versus OpenAI Codex right here. You see these two options? Pick Codex. OpenAI asks for an OpenAI key, or an API key rather. Yeah, they've been adding a lot of integration here. You can see here Gemini CLI is still here, but they removed anti-gravity, which makes sense. I'm sure Anthropic, there's no more OAuth. Yeah, API key plus legacy token. Interesting, they still have that in there. Copilot proxy, okay. Hugging Face as well. Interesting, interesting. I've actually thought about signing up for a Hugging Face just to test out different things on it, but I just haven't needed to yet. You know what's funny? Mistral, API only. Yeah, Grok is API only. Yeah, I'm actually very, very curious. I actually kind of want to see what his responses were. I mean, is this a paid promo? I have no idea, but Theo says he's decided on Openclaw, Open Code Zen, by the way. Interesting. Is it not the same thing? Oh, it was literally right up top and I just skipped it. So you can just select whatever underlying model you want. Interesting. Are you talking about, what are you talking about? The config? Yes, it is. I generally just have my agent do it for me. No, it's all good. It's all good. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, API equals tokens, OAuth equals usage limits. I just got into using Paperclip, I'm guessing. With the Claude subscription, doesn't seem like there's any way to plug in an external API. Any idea what will happen to this? I think at some point they're gonna, you know, I think their main focus is Openclaw, right? But I have a feeling eventually they're gonna do the same thing to Paperclip and Hermes at some point. I could be totally wrong, but yeah. Question, I got the larger memory Mac Mini and run local models like Quen to handle it. Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. What you might want to do is, you know, depends on how concerned you are with creating sandboxed environments per agent or per gateway. Maybe you explore the idea of having a multi-gateway setup where one gateway is run off of one local model, another is run off of your subscription models, and then you create a communication layer between the two of them. Or you can just run both of them simultaneously underneath the same gateway and specify, you know, create all the different agent teams with workspaces you want underlying that one gateway. It should work no problem. Now, the only issue is I haven't personally tested that route, so I can't tell you if it works outright. But in theory, it should work no problem, yeah. Hey, there you go. There you go. Do I have a specific browser API set up for my OC? I think I set up, are you talking about like search features? My OC uses its own profile here in Brave browser. I set it as the primary, and it can control its own profiles without this browser relay. Now I did set up this browser relay a while ago, but I stopped using it because I don't need to. Hope that answers your question. And I'm just gonna cancel out of that. Wow, I can see when it sucks for me on my screen, but looking at the stream, you guys can actually read the terminal, whereas if I zoom out to its like normal view, it's kind of annoying to read. So I'm gonna have to keep this in mind for future videos. Maybe I'll go to a 720p resolution on this screen when I'm recording videos. It's gonna be really annoying and condensed and compacted for me to operate. But for you, the viewer, the experience, I see why Theo uses 720p and not 1080p resolution. Wow, okay. Yo, what's up, Derek? Hey, how you doing today? I hope busy good. I hope busy in a good way. We're just vibing, talking Anthropic, kind of working with different workarounds. Let's see. Interesting. Now, I'm going to ask it the same question. We're going to see how it responds. And look at that ambitious goal. That's insane. What do you use as a communication layer for your bots? They tell me they set up something, but there's no collaboration between them. Interesting. Did you catch any of my past videos about how to wire a multi-agent team? So I have these daily stand-ups, and then they all operate off of their PM board and their pipeline. But then I also created this shared meeting memory workspace, which I worked Muddy creating this, where each and every one of them reference, right? Muddy, including Elon, Gary, and Warren. This I need to delete. That was actually an old link. I don't know why that's there, but they all reference the shared meeting memory, so they're not repetitive. They also do have their own chat window, which I personally don't use often because I don't just have them chatting autonomously like this. Their heartbeats check in on any stale tasks and they execute the tasks according to who it was assigned to. So yeah, I would answer that question though, because I break down how to do that in a few different videos. I know you had to start over last night, but how long did it take you to swap agents to GPT and then hook up Claude Code in the terminal? It's been a little buggy. Today we had some outages with Claude.ai, so the OAuth just wasn't working in the CLI, even abiding by the terms of service, but now things are working. I essentially spent all weekend first testing different workarounds, realizing those workarounds weren't going to work, and then built out my own solutions. And then, thankfully, a lot of my Clearmud OS commands don't break the terms of service because these are all / commands that operate out of the CLI and the agent doesn't call them, right? So I would say had I not worked on those workarounds, probably would have only taken me like 7 to 8 hours, most, Derek, at most. But I spent all weekend, over 20 hours now at this point, because I went down a path of trying to find a workaround to use Opus 4.6 through my Claude sub as my primary agent. We just didn't get it working. No, so ClawCrib should only be on a Gemini 3.1 Flash model. It's disconnected from our agent setup. I'm curious on, interesting. I'll have to check that out. And got a massive reply. I mean, is it different? Like, yeah, it's still on our Gemini API for that one. So I'm curious to see what that reply looks like. Does Codex top tier plan just cover coding, or does it handle any of Openclaw day to day? Yeah, it just gives you access to all the models, right? GPT 5.4, 5.4, mini, nano, all the different reasoning levels. So you can pick whatever model you want to use once you set up that OAuth through the Codex CLI. You can use any of those models as you normally would. So that's one thing that all of mine's on the same hardware. So those videos might not apply to you. One recommendation I have is use our free tool, clawcrib.com. Go to help, explain your setup here. It's powered by Gemini. What's cool about this is it only feeds from two sources. It feeds from the docs.openclaw.ai website, as well as all of the releases from github.com/openclaw/openclaw. And it tries to help you set things up, or tries to help you find out how to fix a problem within your Openclaw setup. And currently it's free to use. I don't know if it's always going to be free because it is costing me money out of pocket each month now to have this running, but I did pick one of the cheapest models I could find that's smart enough to do the work. But it only feeds from those two sources. It has no connection to my Openclaw agent, and it is powered by Gemini 3.1 Flashlight Pro, or Flashlight. I have a lot of videos that walk through, like, all of my videos are based off of my setup, right? I have a deep dive planned to where I break down MuddyOS, all 3 modules and all of the underlying tabs. But with this recent change, I want to get the system dialed in because things aren't working perfectly after the swap. Things are working in theory, but like the delivery mechanisms aren't working properly. I'm not getting pinged on Telegram when meetings are done. So I want to take at least another 2 weeks to dial things in now that GPT is our primary model again, or for the first time. And then we'll go from there. And then I'll do a deep dive with master prompts for you to try to build your own. All right. And I'm going to say it again, but we're going to say it with Codex 5.4 and see what happens here. Yo, what's up, Greek? How you doing today? Happy Monday. Let's get it. Task Manager is kind of like a mission control. I call it Task Manager because I'm a Windows guy, but it's a place for me to, once it loads, taking its sweet time, huh? It's a place for me to manage how many active sessions there are, right? How many crons are scheduled. If anything fails, I get it here. This is like a UI bug since the swap. I need to figure out what's going on there so I can expand them, all that. This then shows active sessions that I can kind of filter between agent, right? And then I can also go in and view that session here. It's running very slow today though. I need to analyze why. So that's what my task manager is for. And then I see the overnight log here as well. So it's kind of like your mission control, but then I also have this dashboard view that is, think of it this way. It's like it gives you a brief overview of all underlying features and tabs. Wow, this system's running incredibly slow today, right? It gives me a system pulse, issues detected, services running, how many crons failed, how many prototypes are running. And it's just like a place to just check real time, like 7-day trends of how much API, how many tokens we're running each day, certain deadlines in place. So like, yeah, my system is unique. Like my agent to work together when I build them. Yeah, I hope that answers it. A lot of my videos, right? Like pretty much all of my videos are based off of my systems. So I don't just make a video of something that'll work in theory. I make a video based off of what I got working. Interesting. Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Yeah, nothing changed there. So it should be smooth sailing there. Yeah, of course. Oh, nice, nice. I'd love to see it. Windows guy on a M1 Max. Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought? I originally bought this M1 when I started to pursue a career in creative, right? In photography and videography. And I was traveling a bunch. So I was like, you know, I know Windows laptops, they suck with battery life. Now, The ones that are good don't have the performance I need, right? They're very basic. So it's like a double-edged sword there. It's like, yes, you can find a Windows-based laptop that is efficient on a battery that can run for 10 hours while you do work, but the work you do is limited because the hardware is very, basic hardware. The M1 Max, on the other hand, could handle so much more and then retain that battery life benefit. So that's why I went with it. And I gotta say, I've been a Windows guy my whole life. I hated all old Macs except for this new ARM architecture. These processors, these silicon chips are insane. They're insane. So I still use Windows, don't get me wrong, on all of my workstations and whatnot, but like my mobile laptop, it's Mac because of the battery life. It's been like, and then this new silicone chip. Those two pairings, oh my goodness gracious. Right on, happy to hear it. Hey, cool, yeah, thank you. Listen, it's in beta, right? It built it as a free resource for people. I haven't been able to test all of the pre-built templates, right? But I will. So use with caution, right? You can also build out your own setup and then feed that JSON file or that config file or the response to a fresh Openclaw setup. These are still things I have to test, but the main use case for it right now is this help tab. The build tab as well is the same as the help tab. It only uses Gemini's 3.1 flash light, as well as it only sources from those two sources. So it doesn't give you any hallucinations as well. And then let's see. Ooh, we got some more feedback as well. I need to address this here. You're helping too many people out. Bug open. Shout out Stonesy. Yeah, so that website's a work in progress. I want to keep it free for as long as humanly possible, but if the costs start exceeding, a certain number a month, I'm not going to be able to keep it free. We're going to have to create some type of paid model to use it, which I hate. I absolutely hate. Yeah, we do have a Discord community. And we only give out invites here on the channel. M-chips are amazing. Yeah, I agree. But if you're talking about like a paid community, I don't have a school community. I might start one down the road. My agents came together and started talking about like, I have a very strict stance on not paywalling content. So I'm never going to launch a paid school community that puts a boot camp behind it. The only time I would think about launching a paid school community or something like that is if I want to create a intimate group of people who need help from start to finish with deploying whatever they want to deploy, whether it's a web app, whether it's an Openclaw setup, right? And I would have to be very thoughtful about that approach. And I would most likely still make that content publicly viewable, but the ability to have me work on your app or help you one-on-one would have to be through that, right? Kind of like how Alex Hermosi, all of his live streams are free, but the people asking the questions, right, and getting that help have to go through a community layer, right? So, yeah, I don't know. It's a future thought, right? But like, I'm a very strict, like, I do not want to sell you a $100 or $50 a month plan and paywall stuff that should be free, right? So I'm going to continue doing everything I can to keep it free. But there is plans for a paid community at that some point, but keep in mind, it's getting my guidance and helping you from idea to deployment, right? So you're actually deploying something rather than just getting a library or archive of pre-recorded videos that should just live on YouTube permanently for free. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'll shoot a link towards the end. Hey, I mean, yeah, so the coffee crew is for anybody who wants to buy me a cup of coffee. I'll never promote it. I appreciate Greek over here showing some love. I appreciate it. Listen, I'll have a cup of coffee in your honor if you do sign up. I appreciate the support. But it's like, I have a very strict stance on, like, I don't, like, all of these paid communities remind me of Tai Lopez. You guys remember Tai Lopez? He kind of followed, trying to remember the name. Pretty much, he sells a paid community, a paid course, sales funnel tactics, all that shit, right? And then you get these like outdated year-old videos of how to do X, Y, and Z. That's how school communities feel to me. It's like you pay for access to a library of videos that would be better off just being free on YouTube. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. All my videos are always going to be free on YouTube, but I'm not opposed to the idea of a paid community where I hold your hand from start to finish, but you do have to sign off on like, we need to use this as content. This needs to go live, right? So like, yeah. Quick TLDR of my approach on like the whole community side of things. Like that's why I don't have a school link in my bio. That's not my approach. Listen, I'm leaving a lot of money on the table because of that, but I do not want to take the same approach that everyone else is taking. I do not want to take an extractive approach. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here for the long term. I'm not here for the short term. I'm not here for the hype, right? I have the background to ensure that I'm here for the long term. I am not just jumping on a trend trying to take money from you guys. So, and I hope that shows in these live streams in the long forms that I post. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you. Yeah, and the space is moving so quick too. Yeah, appreciate you, Greek. Appreciate you, Greek. Here in my garage. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I went down a rabbit hole for sure. Interesting. Now I'm surprised by his response here. No M dashes, which I like. M dashes were here, which I did not like. Did he just improve? Interesting. Derek knows. Derek knows. No, I don't. No, I don't. And I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. Yeah. So now we'll run this and see what happens. Let us, the work we did on MuddyOS, an example. Okay. Let's see what happens here. What time is it? Oh, it's almost dinner time. I also do have a lot of work to get done tonight as well. So let's run one more script, vibe with the community here a little bit more. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, stopping by. And I hope you found some value just through the conversation back and forth of what I'm doing to handle this ban, what other people are doing to handle the ban. For some people, it didn't affect them, like Ryan. Ryan's been using Codex. He hasn't even bothered. I believe Sharma, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't even bothered signing up for Opus because he knew it was coming, right? Like, all you need to do first is post 96 videos a month saying a lot of nothing. Oh my God. Yeah, I do also see tactics of like, I think there's validity to this approach. Hear me out. Of making one kind of video 5 different ways, because not everybody's going to see it. It's going to start to hit people differently on the algorithm. I get that. But when you start just being repetitive and saying the same thing over and over and over again and not providing any real value, it's like eventually you just get the unsubscribe for me or I mute the channel. Like I do that from time to time. It's like if this channel is clearly extractive, there's a few channels on my list that I have not yet muted that I'm about to. Right? Because I'm just tired of the same repetitive bullshit. Excuse my language. I'm inspired by people who bring value because that's my focus is on bringing value. It's of being service to you, right? It's not extracting from you. So, yeah. Got an idea I'm working on. I was going to mention it in the Discord, but wanted to run it by you first. Yeah. Looking forward to checking out this idea. I love Derek's ideas. Derek has helped me single-handedly improve both of my OSs, primarily my skills directory, notably my skills directory, as well as my brand kit within Clearmud OS. That's over here. All inspired by Derek. And Goat's been offline, by the way. I took him offline. We're going to build off that at some point, but I was today years old when I realized that AI lied to me when it said I have to use API to authorize Openclaw type harness. Even with Max Plan, I feel foolish. No, man. See, if you didn't ask the question, you would have continued down the path you were on, right? So that's not foolish, right? You asked the right question. You just asked. Ask away. This is why I'm a big advocate for, if you don't ask, you don't get the answer, right? Not asking a question is a stupid question, but if you think the question is foolish or stupid and you ask it, I don't think that's foolish or stupid. I think just any question is a good question. Right there. I love it. Value quote just brought meaning to different areas of my life. Bring value, don't extract. Better rewards will flow. Exactly. 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 Oh yeah, we're going to have to do some maintenance on MuddyOS. He is slow today. But let's go back to our YouTube script. Yeah, everything's working great. This is solid. Let's see. This was the one thing I was worried about most, was like if they found a way to cut Claude CLI access the way I'm using it through a REST API call, I would have been very unhappy with that. But this is within the terms of service. This is just a front end shell that on the back end, it's still calling that / command based off of that specific project directory I built out in the Claude CLI. So this is not violating the terms of service. And this is one idea for you, anybody watching who builds anything with a / command out of the Claude CLI, to still use their agent or their dashboards with Claude CLI. The builder, I built format. I built my own IDE inside of my AI agent dashboard, and you can too. Ooh, I like that. The contrarian, stop using someone else's terminal, build this instead. The tutorial, build a full terminal IDE in your dashboard, step by step. Interesting, I'm between 1 and 2. Let's go read those hooks. Every AI coding tool out there wants you to live inside their terminal. Cursor, windsurf. Okay. What's strategy 3's hook? By the end of this video, you're going to have a fully working terminal IDE in your own dashboard. Ooh, I like that. Let's go with strategy 3. I like that a lot. Oh, what's this? I think it's self-improvement. Improve something. I haven't noticed this yet. What's this expanded works? Interesting. What? So, no, this just views the markdown files. It doesn't view the past sessions. Okay. I don't know if I like this. Kind of cool. If only this was truly live. I think what I would want to do is improve this. Interesting. This is very interesting. Huh. Cool. I'm just going to leave that there for now. I save, infrastructure improvements and analyzing build log self-improvements usually on weekends on Infra Saturdays. So let's see, Script Vault. Okay, these are all just like old stuff I didn't use or stuff I did use. Interesting. Man, you get so stuck in the day-to-day, you kind of don't pay attention to certain things that were built out for you. One change I am noticing here, though, is it used to show the raw output. Excuse me. Now it shows the raw output, but then it condenses it, saying it saved it here. And we're seeing a weird front-end glitch on this as well. Interesting. Yeah, so this week, let's see. I'm going to record this tomorrow. I'll work on some thumbnails this evening. This is already done. I forgot to update the status there, B-roll harvest. So I'm either going to do this one or we're going to do this new script for tomorrow. I feel like I should do that other one for tomorrow because it's more of a summary. And then this will actually break down how to build your own IDE terminal. And maybe what I can do is kick up the goat and then build it live, record the screen, create the post edit for that video. I think that's the move. This is also taking a long time. See what happens. Gotta say, I love these jazz jams in the background. All right, we can start cleaning up these tabs. Oh yeah, and if you're just tuning in, resources is working, OAuth is working. Test it, check it out. Ooh, I need to optimize it, right? It's a very beta version of it. I'm gonna give this a better look in the very near future. But it's like, I like to start simple. So I just wanted to get this out there, and then we're going to build out just a better way to filter it and view everything. Maybe add some visuals as well, because this just looks like walls of text for now. But you know, we're improving with time, but this should also work now for you. Is this with an Openclaw? Not yet, not yet. Let's also go and take a look at let's go take a look at releases here. Yeah, this is really cool. I'm wondering though, can I use my Google AI Ultra sub to do this? That would be awesome. My credits, not API. If I can, oh, that would be a game changer. An opt-in GPT personality and provider, interesting. Interesting. We're prompting with it real quick. If you have unlimited API access to top tier models from Anthropic, Gemini, and OpenAI, how will you use? Can you share it? If you have unlimited API access, I would still be using Opus 4.6 as my main agent as of now. For Gemini and OpenAI, I would probably create a separate individual agent that operates off of its top tier model with the highest possible reasoning. That would probably be my approach. Now, we talk about it throughout this episode a lot of like what this change means. Now, I don't have unlimited API access to Anthropic. I am actually lightweight boycotting Anthropic in a way. I canceled one of my 2 max subs since the announcement. I'm still going to keep one of them for now because I'm working on Claude CLI alternatives, right? But as of now, my primary agent, I've been testing between Gemini 3.1 Pro Preview as well as GPT's 5.4. So I hope that answers your question. Maybe you can get a little bit more specific with the question, and I can give a little bit more insight into it. But yeah, if I had unlimited access to all of these, like first and foremost, I would create video generative workflows if I had unlimited Gemini API access that I didn't have to pay for. Like that would be so awesome, right? But using Gemini CLI is a little limited because you can't go and use your credits from your Google AI Ultra sub that you get to generate videos. You have to use a Gemini key with VO3 with generative video enabled on that API key. And then that costs money. It's very costly. Give you a direction for it. A direction for it. So are you saying you have unlimited API access? And what direction do you want to take with your Openclaw setup? Is that what I'm understanding? Oh yeah, we'll send one shortly. I'll send it to close out the live stream. Hey, thank you, Danny. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you had a good weekend. Thanks for stopping by. Give you a direction for it. Okay. Listen, for high reasoning, for deep research, for complex planning, I would use Opus 4.6. For anything code base, anything security audit, anything security related, any front-end facing code bases, any front-end facing production environments, Codex does that final pass, right? And then for Gemini 3.1 Flash is great for heartbeats, is great for checkups. It's very cheap. It's actually got a great personality. If you create a separate agent with its own workspace, its own soul and identity, you can have it operate solely off of Gemini 3.1 Flash Lite. It's solid. I've had a great experience with that. And then Gemini 3.1 Pro Preview, I reserve for UI and UX related front-end work, and then also anything 3D or visual. Hope that helps. That would be my approach with those three unlimited. And then underlying, right? Trying to figure out what your best, like sometimes you don't always need Opus. Like with my YouTube script generator, the deep research happens with Opus, but then the output happens with Sonnet. Now, they all operate based off of skills that are in that project directory. So the output is very consistent regardless of what model I use. However, the research part of it, I get a better script, a more thorough script when I use Opus versus Sonnet. So it's also testing these models to see which one works best for whatever it is you're building, right? So my answer I just gave you is very surface level because I don't know exactly what you're building. I don't know exactly what you're doing. I don't know exactly the use case. I don't know your industry. I don't know your workflows, your automations, right? So like I can only give you a surface level answer for that. Hope that helps. Thanks for asking. Codex is ChatGPT. Is ChatGPT's CLI. All right, so let's view full output real quick. Let's actually just add this to our calendar. Go to my content calendar. Voila. Listen, I like this. I like this. And now I won't use this script word for word. I never do, right? I use the title, the hook, and usually the description as like a listicle format. I'll like list out things here. Yeah, shoot, I'm loving it. This is great. Okay, solid. So we know that still works flawlessly. It's wonderful. Now I did ask my primary agent, you know, one of the new features, providers/OpenAI, add forward compact for GPT 5.4 mini, and then an opt-in GPT personality. This is what caught my eye. And I was like, okay, analyze the new releases. Now it's taking a while for this response. Let's see what happens. GPT just messed up my outreach agent I hassled for a week. Yeah. GPT is listen, one positive I have with GPT is it does the work. It does a great job. It's just not as quick. And sometimes it won't update you when the work's complete. But the past 2 mornings, I've been pleasantly surprised with the amount of work I give it overnight, what it comes back with in the morning, and then the fact that everything just works. It's great. It's just not as quick. The personality sucks compared to Opus 4.6 as the primary agent. And the walls of text that I get in response, I hate. I personally hate. It just does not feel like it did with Opus 4.6. But I think with time, GPT will improve. You know, with Peter on the team, GPT will improve. I have no doubt in my mind GPT is going to be the go-to. Everyone's going to be happier with it long term. But in the short term, we're all upset with Anthropic. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, listen, I'm going to pop out a Discord invite here. And I got to get going. I got some other work to do. I want to, let's see. I want to eat some dinner, take care of some other work, and it might be a late night as well for me again, which is okay. Let's see. I'll send out 5 invites. Should be more than enough. To answer your question, Ryan, when I first made the swap, I did have this weird loop issue where it would identify an issue. It would tell me what it's going to do to fix it, but it really needed me to say in all caps, do it now, which was really weird. From the way it responded, it sounded like it was going to be doing it now, but it didn't until I gave it to the green light, which probably has something to do with the way I have Muddy configured in the first place, right? Yeah. Hope that answers it. And then leaning on Heartbeat, all my Heartbeats have been working great. I swapped them over to GPT-4 Mini. I essentially, when I did the transition, I swapped my primary agent and then all underlying agents to GPT 5.4. My primary is high reasoning. The other C-suite teams are medium or adaptive reasoning, I believe. And then everything else, right? Depending on what the task was. Some sub-agents are actually still Claude. Because they actually don't spin up a Claude session. They call a /command in a Claude CLI session. So that's not violating terms of service. At least not yet. We'll see. But yeah, my Heartbeats, everything's been working great. The one weird issue I've noticed though is the delivery output. They're not sending to my Telegram when they're supposed to. Yeah, I'll try, Derek. It's tough, man. It is tough. It is tough. Yeah, listen, we gotta just bang our heads against the brick wall. You know, we're learning this together. We're experiencing this together. So, yeah. Hope that helped, man. Thanks for the question. Yeah, see you, whoosh. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm happy to hear you found some value here. Link expired already. Invalid. Try copy pasting it and putting it into your browser instead of just clicking it. Because when I go check that link, I don't think it's been used. Let's go check. Server settings. Invites. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cancel every single invite, create a new invite link, edit, generate, copy. Voila. One last one. Should work. My baby wakes up every night at 3 a.m. and I was so tempted this morning to see the progress of my work, but I forced myself to lay and stare at the ceiling for an hour wondering instead. Yep. I know this feeling. The other night I tried. I tried to go to bed early, but I laid in bed and I was like, nope, fuck this. Went right back down to the computer. Went right back down to the computer. Where are my heartbeats on Muddy OS? Well, it's based off of my Openclaw dashboard, Openclaw gateway, right? Because the Muddy OS is just a fancy dashboard for the Openclaw gateway that we have configured, right? So I can configure them in line with my agent. As you can see here, Muddy's not responding. Listen, I'm hungry. I'm going to troubleshoot this later. I'm going to go primarily do work out of the CLI all night. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's go. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate you. I use mine with Discord so I can check in from wherever I am. Let's go. Let's go. All right. I just want to thank everyone for stopping by. TJ, Thane, Derek, Paul. I'm going to say Paul. Powin. Thank you, Pokemon. Thank you, Wrangler. Thank you, Whoosh. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Sahil, for stopping by. Thank you, Whoosh. Oh, I already said that. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Rue. Busy as usual. Hope you're having a great start to the week. Hey, Greek, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Trying to promote the channel. Much love. Thank you, J-Bud, for stopping by. New viewer. Let's see how long I can scroll up here. This usually cuts off right around here. I want to make sure I'm not repetitive, but I want to take the time to thank everybody for stopping by. Nabil, thank you. I believe you're a new face. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Sam Deploy, thank you for stopping by again. John, thanks for staying up late from Bangkok. Appreciate you. And Vinny, yeah, I haven't seen your comment. I scrolled up all the way. Couldn't see it. Just want to say thanks to everybody for stopping by. Hope you have a great start to the week. I will be live streaming on Wednesday. This week we have a unique schedule. I will not be streaming Friday. I'll give you all an update on Wednesday. I got to get through the next 2 days worth of work, and then I'll worry about the rest of the week. So without further ado, thanks for stopping by. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Hit a like, share this with a friend you think would find some value. And yeah, until then, wow, my outro is all messed up today. We'll be back at it tomorrow with a long form video, Thursday with a long form video, Wednesday with a live stream. And until then, happy building. Cheers. Appreciate you.